What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first of a three-part series where we kind of talk about our favorite things that either came out in 2023 or things that we've just been really excited about in terms of equipment, and we're breaking that down by categories. So that's gonna be our favorite cinema cameras, our favorite lens sets, and I think maybe just our favorite cheap budget piece of filmmaking equipment. So before we get into that, let's talk about my t-shirt here. Save the Seas. I'm very passionate about charitable organizations, and for this series, for all the views we get up until December 31st of 2023, Northwest Camera Co. and possibly some other sponsors, for every 1,000 views we total, we're gonna give $5 to a local charity that specializes in ocean cleanup and restoration, because hey, it's really great to keep our oceans and seas clean and keep all the animals super happy so everyone can be super happy. With that, let's get into our first video, our favorite camera of 2023. Now, before we jump into this, I just want to mention this is all totally opinion, and take it for what you will. You might hate these, but we love them. So with that, our favorite cinema camera of 2023 is the Red V-Raptor 8K. We're just gonna talk a little bit about this and why we thought this is our favorite camera. Now, going back a few years, the Red Epic Dragon was a great camera, and then Red came out with the DSMC2 lineup, and there was a lot of cameras in that. Scarlet Dragon, Epic Dragon, Dragon X, Monstro, Gemini, Helium. And it's kind of like that scene in Half Baked where the guy's quitting and he's like, "F you, f you, f you, f you, you're cool, f you, I quit." Now, DSMC2 was kind of a weird system. We actually got rid of all of them from our rental house and had an addendum in our rental agreements for sub-rentals if people wanted to take them. We just had way too many people losing media and files and just didn't want that on our shoulders, so kind of wrote Red off for a long time. I personally got very into shooting on Alexa Mini, and kind of tended to be much more on that system. Now, in the work that's here in Seattle and all that stuff we do, I actually really like the C500 Mark II, and that camera held the #1 spot for me for a very long time, just because of how flexible, cheap, and easy that camera was to use on almost any job. Now, fast forward to 2023, I was very hesitant to try Raptor, but at the price point, it made sense to check it out and see what there is. Now, after shooting on this camera for a year and trying to take it out on as many jobs as I can honestly say that this is my favorite camera that is out there for a multitude of reasons. I am going to jump into the negatives really quickly, and there's only really one. I wished the image looked better straight out of camera. Now, once you go into post and literally just move a couple things in Resolve, that is like, it looks so good. And the flexibility of this codec is amazing. I wish there was just a little bit of tweak to make things look a little better straight out of camera, but outside of that, this camera is amazing. The price point at $24,000 is infinitely cheaper than an Alexa 35 or a Venice 2, and personally, I'd much rather use this camera than those any day of the week, just in terms of size and what the capability is. Now I can do 8K in a multitude of RAW formats or ProRes all the way up to 444XQ as a super sampled 4K. You can upload to Frame.io directly from this, so if you've got a proxy workflow and you have access to internet, you can just be blasting files straight up. Now, the thing that really pushed this camera over the edge this year for me really was this breakthrough DFM filter for the RF to PL that had built-in variable ND. Finally, I can use almost every lens set we have here and be able to just gradually adjust variable ND in camera without it having a really bad color cast or some weird things going on. And that really changed my outlook on Red as a usable, all the time working camera. From there, the other thing that I really like about this system now is the integration of all the autofocus capability, which for those kind of jobs where you need it, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, and it's actually surprisingly good. So, okay, so why isn't the Alexa 35 my top choice? Well, to be honest,
You shut up! I'm so scared right now!
I don't really like the Alexa 35, and that's what it comes down to.
Damn!
I feel like they came out with this new camera that is lower on the resolution chart. Also, the thing that it does have that's great is a lot of highlight retention, but at the same time, this camera has the same amount of awesomeness in low light retention, underexposed retention. If you watched or if you saw any of the tests that came out around Cinegear that they were doing for HBO, this camera performs so well in underexposed areas and has such clean looking blacks. I, as a philosophy, actually appreciate that more than highlight retention, especially when the highlight retention in this is already good. It's just not as good as an Alexa 35. And when you're talking about extra stops of latitude, unless you're doing something like shooting explosions or shooting in bright sun with a lot of snow, I just don't see where the extra value is in that sort of highlight retention, because a viewer you're not adding things into those highlight stops that is going to change your story altogether. But when you have good, clean blacks, now that everything has gone to some form of streaming, getting artifacting in your blacks and having chunky stuff going on, I feel like really takes the viewer out of the experience. They're saying, is it my TV? Is it this service? Is it my internet? What's going on? Limiting that with a camera like the Raptor, I feel like keeps the viewer immersed in the story, much more so than just having added highlight retention. And for that, I really think Red's philosophy of the approach of cameras in general is really smart. And I don't know if anyone's honestly talking about that approach for a camera manufacturer in general. So the Red Raptor 8K has so much capability in terms of frame rate, codecs, size, weight, for the price. It's just a monumentally fantastic camera, and it pairs well with other cameras in Red's lineup like the Komodo X, or even if you want to jump to something bigger like the XL. It has all the proper I/O and a breakout 9-pin to go to breakout boxes to get all sorts of other capability when you're talking about timecode, Genlock, sync, all sorts of stuff. Also, the preamps in this are really great if you do want to use their XLR module and run straight in. I didn't really think in 2023 I'd be telling you that my favorite camera was a Red by any stretch of the imagination. I almost was positive it was going to be the Alexa 35 or the Venice, but after using all of those and using this is the camera I want to go to 9 times out of 10 when budget allows for it. So with that is our favorite camera of 2023. If you haven't played with a Red Raptor so far, please go out and try it out. It's been a pretty pleasant experience for me. It's been very reliable. We haven't had any issues here on set or with any of our rentals. And with that, I think that's really all you can ask for a camera of this price point or even much higher. So with that, thanks for watching. Remember, like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll catch you back with another one of these favorites of 2023 videos in just a little bit.